Good afternoon, my nonprofit family. How are you doing? And welcome to another live stream, the first one of 2022. If you're new here, my name is Maureen. I'm a nonprofit digital strategist and technology coach, and I help nonprofit teams make really smart decisions about the technology that they're using to communicate and engage with supporters and, importantly, raise money. Just about every Friday afternoon, I do a live stream and we talk about a topic that a nonprofit accidental techie like you, like me, can use. So happy 2022, everyone. I hope you all really were able to unplug and kind of get away, even if you've been working from home, get away from that workspace and enjoy some downtime and some fun and hopefully some good health with your family and friends and loved ones. Before we dive into today's topic, which I am super excited to talk with you about, 3 free things you can do to tame your nonprofit technology in 2022. I've got a quick announcement I'd like to make about a new service that I've started to offer. They're called Power Hours. I tested these last year in 2021 quietly with some nonprofit teams, and they seemed to be very beneficial to those teams. So, Power Hour sessions are designed to give you expert, like just in time answers to your technology questions and help you develop a short term action plan to address whatever, whether it's an issue or an opportunity. You can bring up to 4 people. I've opened up my calendar and have made just a couple of spots available. They're super affordable. So I'm going to pop that link in the chat right now. And if you think that's something that might be helpful to you, please check that out. So here's why you came today, or you're watching this in a recorded fashion from the future. We're going to talk about these 3 things that are completely free, no cost at all, for you to actually tame your nonprofit tech or start to tame it, depending on the state of things, in 2022. So the holiday hoopla is all over. It's reality. It's January 7th. We're all back. We're back at work, whether it's working from a home office or working back in the office. And sadly, when we all logged back in on Monday, the 3rd, we all realized that all those system glitches and workarounds and technology problems came right into the new year with us. None of them resolved themselves while we were logged off. And, that can get you down. That can really suppress any new year, fresh feeling that you might have when you are dealing with your nonprofit systems. Fundraising databases, donation forms, websites, volunteer management systems, survey tools, email marketing tools, all that stuff. Most of us really wish that we could just free up a bunch of money and toss all of it at our technology problems. Wouldn't that be great? I'm going to pay somebody to fix things or clean things up or whatever. I don't have to deal with it. I'm just paying somebody to do it. And money certainly helps make things better. There's no denying that. But for every organization that can't or maybe won't invest in their technology, there's another nonprofit organization out there who is just shoveling cash onto a burning fire. They're not fixing things. They're just tossing money at stuff and moving on. And, that's almost worse than needing to DIY everything in the first place. I'm not going to tell you that every pain point of yours can be solved without a monetary investment. Sometimes you're going to need to hire an expert to build something or fix something or help you make a plan, or maybe it's time to pay for a new system. But these 3 things that I'm going to share with you today are really guaranteed to give you some peace of mind, a little relief, and raise your return on investment, which is really a big thing for me. Let's go through these 3 things together. It might surprise you what they are. You take a quick drink. Take a drink if you're you've got liquids near you. So the first thing is to inventory your systems, and assign an owner to each piece of the pie, each component. Make a list. What do you have? I see this over and over again where an organization has teams who are using different tools. Fundraising is using this tool, marketing is using that tool, volunteers are using that tool, and everybody just deals with their own thing. Nobody really knows what the full picture of all of your stuff actually is. And that is super helpful. It's going to help you tame your nonprofit tech because you're going to know what you have. So make a list. What do you have? Product name. How much are you paying for it? When is the contract up for renewal? Get a little clear and directive on the stuff that you're using and the value and the cost of each of those products. So you've got your list. I bet you have at least 6. You might have 36, depending on your organization. Once you have that inventory, the next thing you're going to do is just add a tiny little bit of info about how you use each system. We use MailChimp for this. We use Constant Contact for that. What does each system do for you? Why do you even have it? Document that. You are going to need to talk to people you yourself aren't going to know. And often, this kind of technology, the engagement, the fundraising, the volunteer or event management stuff, if you're lucky enough to have an IT person in your organization, they're usually not paying attention to this. They're worrying about laptops and webcams and internet and email servers. So this is time for somebody to take charge and actually inventory things and get a lay of the land. Take a snapshot as to how things are being used right now in your organization. And the last thing around this first step, inventorying your systems, is assigning an owner to each piece of software, each component. Who's responsible for dealing with it? And when I say dealing with it, I mean keeping it updated, maybe using it on the daily or regularly, solving problems, troubleshooting when glitches or issues pop up. They're the ones who are responsible for maintaining a good relationship with your software providers. They know when new updates are happening and they're pushing them out. So in your tech inventory, I want you to document the system owner's name. This is Bob. This is Mary. Going to help you move forward with clarity, with the right people, helping to suss things out and keep stuff working well. So that's the first free thing, is inventory your systems and assign an owner to each component. The second free thing that I want you to do this year with your technology to tame it is form a technology governance group. Could be a work group, could be a work pals group, could be a task force, whatever you call these little work groups inside your organization. You need one for your technology, for all of it, holistically, the best way to handle it. The chaos comes from us dealing with just little pieces instead of the whole thing. So you're going to form a technology governance group, and here's how you're going to do it. It's really easy. You're going to grab those system owners that you just identified, Bob, Mary, Robin, whomever, and you're going to meet. If you don't have anyone from senior leadership represented among your system owners list, bring somebody in, the person that makes the most sense. Senior leadership will actually be super helpful to have in conversations like these because they can remove barriers. They can help you make decisions, prioritize things. The other role that you need in your technology governance group is at least one end user. So maybe a data entry person or your admin person who is the one who sets up your events in Eventbrite. want to have sort of a cross section of people from different levels of the organization, as well as those system owners who really know their systems and can represent the needs of those systems in this work group. So you're going to meet every month. If you can do it every other month, whatever cadence works best for you and your team, don't care. Monthly is good to start because you probably have a lot of things to talk about. And you're going to discuss issues and opportunities related to your technology from an organizational perspective. Very different than, that's your problem, Bob. The email tool isn't working. Good luck with that. That's not what we're going to do anymore. The way to tame your technology is to look at it holistically, how the whole ecosystem is functioning. And, there's a lot we can do with technology. There's a lot we have to do with technology. This governing body is going to help prioritize things, going to help make decisions that are in the best interest of the organization, not just from Bob's perspective, because there may be things going on in the org that Bob doesn't know. So grab this group, start meeting monthly, and start talking about your technology mix. Then this group is going to create an online space for your team, your whole organization's team, to document non-urgent requests around technology. Non-urgent, right? We can live without anybody dealing with it for a few months. Changes, adding new features, swapping out MailChimp for Constant Contact, whatever is going on that's not urgent. You need a Google Doc or something in your Dropbox or your OneDrive or SharePoint where people are allowed to just go in and say, hey, it's Mary. This is what I need. This is the date that I entered it. And your group, your technology governance group, is going to look at that list every month when you meet. You're going to make some decisions. You're going to say, all right, we're not going to do anything with that right now. Or, oh, I didn't realize we could do X, Y, or Z. Let's prioritize that. How do we make that happen? So you can see how the governance group is actually going to be really instrumental in strategically driving what you do with your technology. That is not just like, yeah, we're sending our emails. Yeah, we got to have appeals. Yeah, we need new donation forms. Not the routine stuff, but the new stuff or the bigger stuff, the leveling up stuff. Your technology governance group is going to decide, going to have some very heated and cathartic conversations about your priorities. You probably have never talked about your technology like this before. Might be a little awkward as you first get started, but you're going to make those priorities for the non-urgent stuff. No worries. The urgent stuff, though, our website is down. Oh no, our donation form isn't taking money right now. Our event registration disappeared. We lost all the event registrants. What are we going to do? You need to be able to identify and come up with a methodology for where your team is going to take those urgent requests, those hair on fire, got to be solved right now problems. Probably going to go back to the system owners. Maybe go directly to the vendor or the company that's providing that system for you. But having instructions for people who are experiencing glitches with all the stuff that you guys are using on the daily, you need to give them some direction about how to solve their problems themselves. And the beauty of this is that they're not going to come to you with so much anymore. They're going to know what their sphere of influence is. I get to do these 7 things on my own and just loop somebody in that I'm taking action to fix this thing or to discover what the problem is and then bring that knowledge back to the group, and we'll make a decision about how to fix it, how to address it. You're going to then communicate this stuff out regularly to your full organization. We got a technology governance group. Here's who's in it. Here's how often we're meeting. Here's the notes and the things that we talked about from the last meeting. Here's where we want you to put your non-urgent requests on this Google Doc or in this spreadsheet. And here's what we want you to do if something terrible happens and you need help right away. Here's who to go to, or here are the things you can do on your own. And as your group continues to meet regularly, monthly, every other month, that kind of cadence, every time you meet, you're going to report out very brief bulleted list of the stuff that you guys talked about. We saw the request for a new volunteer system. We're not going to talk about that until we begin our budget for fiscal year 2023. Then everybody knows. What happens often is people lob out these requests, technology requests, in another meeting, in a meeting that has nothing to do with technology, or as you're having lunch with somebody, or in a staff meeting. It's great to have just a couple of places for people to actually put stuff that they need and then get a feedback loop from the governance group about where I sit in line. Where is my request? I put this in 2 months ago. Oh, I see. We're not going to talk about it until September. Great. That may not be the answer I was looking for, but it also lets me know someone's paying attention, they're listening to me, and maybe it will be included in next year's budget. How do I petition for that? And I've got to make a note in September to start really bringing this back up again with my boss in our planning conversations. So inventorying your systems, free thing number one, and assigning owners to each of those systems. Number two, form a technology governance group and manage your technology. Your tech is like a person. You would not hire somebody at $75,000 a year and just let them loose with no governance, no ownership, no oversight. Nobody's going to do that. I don't want to work for that boss. It sounds like it might be fun to just be let off it to run, but I'm going to run off the road or into a wall or make a big mistake. So this is about oversight. That's how taming your technology actually happens. The third thing, I put this in and took it out, and you guys are not going to be surprised. It's dealing with your data. It is totally dealing with your data. Yes, we got glitches in our systems. We got workarounds. We've learned how to live with some of the junk that we've got. But your data, my friends, is the thing that keeps us up at night. Are we collecting the right stuff? What are we doing with it? Do we have permission to use it? How are we sharing it? How are we using it? Where's it coming in and where's it going out? It's a mystery. It's complicated, but there are some easy things that you can do to actually make 2022 the year that you deal with your data and you stop worrying about it quite so much. So again, we're going to go back to a list. The first thing I want you to do is make a list of the issues with your data. Too many dupes, bad soft credit practices, data that comes in over here doesn't get moved to the other places in our systems that it needs to be. So think about the issues, the problems that you've got with your data. If you don't trust it, if you have to do a lot of manipulation before you can send out a direct mail appeal or know that you've got the right audience for your e-newsletter or whatever it is, this has to be dealt with. So make a list of all of those problems with your data. And then I want you to think for 15 minutes or so about how those issues are happening. What's the root cause for those data issues? How's your data getting crudted up? Are forms capturing information and mangling that data so that it's not actually being recorded correctly? I see this a lot with autofill on browsers, right? Somebody's city winds up in the address line, or they don't have a zip code entered. There's lots of things in our forms, maybe, that are contributing to your data crud. Maybe not everybody's doing data entry the same way. Maybe your soft credits are being entered one way by Bob and another way by Mary, and hence it's very hard to actually trust that data and use it in a useful way. And data is valuable to us. I'm not a spreadsheet fan, okay? It makes my own eyes glaze over. I completely understand. But unless you're an organization that owns property, like a piece of land or a building or a school, Staff, number one valuable thing. Data, number two, because you're going to use that data to grow and to raise more money and to reach more people and to actually fulfill your mission, right? Data is how all that stuff is going to happen. You might have heard me mention this story before. This is the perfect place for it. I worked with a large organization many, many years ago, and they were getting ready to prep a direct response, like a multi-channel campaign. There's direct mail stuff that was going out, and there was digital email appeals that were going out. And the rule was you cannot send any of these general appeals in any form to members of our board. No go. They don't get them. We're suppressing them. Heads will roll if any of our board members get a regular appeal. No. It's bad. You're going to get fired. So because they hadn't dealt with their data in so long, one of the board members' last names was Smith. They suppressed every Smith from their file just to be super triple sure that their board member, the one guy named Smith that they wanted to make sure didn't get the stuff, they took away thousands of potential donors. That was how they solved the problem. And I completely understand. But what I didn't understand was after that happened, there was no plan to make sure they didn't have to do that ever again. And I would bet you somewhere somebody is suppressing all the Smiths still inside that organization. I hope not. But we do these funky things with our data because cleaning it up, making sure it doesn't get gross, is just a big job, and it can be very overwhelming, and it's fiddly. It's time consuming. You got to really be careful. You want to merge two duplicates that aren't really the same person. So we sort of don't do anything, and that's a problem, big problem. Every organization is dealing with it. So figure out the root causes for those data issues, forms, data entry practices, other things, and fix them. Do some prevention before you actually clean anything up. It's sort of like if I walked into my bathroom and the sink was pouring out water and it was running all over the floor. And what I chose to do was like clean the sink instead of turning off the faucets and making sure that that problem stopped. So I want you to do that. I want you to focus first on how your data is getting gross to begin with and prevent the grossness from continuing. Now you can decide which data problems you want to tackle first. Take very small bites. This is about progress. It's going to take a while. Maybe 2022 is the year that you take very small components. You block 3 hours out a couple times a month. You identify dupes or issues with data recording, whatever, and you just start working through them. This month, I'm going to work on the first half of the A's. February is the second half of the A's. We don't have a lot of B's, so I can probably work on those in February too. Got to block out the time or it's not going to happen. And it's always good to, if you're going to do this for realsies and you're going to have multiple people working on a cleanup, you got to meet regularly and talk about your process and where you're at so that I'm not fixing something that somebody else is going to gunk up in 5 minutes with their fix. If you're capturing data in multiple systems, and most of us are, I think the last stat I saw is the average nonprofit uses 15 systems to capture data in some way or another, and that includes social media channels. Maybe you've got about that many, maybe you have more. Look at your data integration practices. How is information moving around your ecosystem from product to product? How often does somebody take your Eventbrite event registration data, add it over to MailChimp to your email tool because they've signed up? If you've got a big backlog, figure out what you're going to do to get that data entered. Can you just manipulate a file and upload it? Got to give yourselves deadlines for these things. create an overview of the who, what, when, and where of data movement. That way, again, you've sort of got a map and you understand how things are all working together. Inventory your system and assign owners to each component. Form that technology governance group and start to operationalize problems and changes to the whole shebang, because it's all connected, whether it's really connected or not, it's all connected. And then deal with your data. Figure out what your biggest data pain points are, figure out what's causing them, prevent more of those problems from coming in to the best of your ability, and then get a teaspoon, start cleaning it up. All of them are completely free. All they're going to take is a little bit of intention and a little bit of time. Taming your nonprofit tech really means that you, within the organization, are in control. You're controlling it rather than feeling out of control. I don't know what's going on half the time with our stuff. Not a good place to be. That you're paying attention and providing regular oversight rather than leaving your systems to manage themselves, which is tempting and what we all thought bringing technology into our organizations was going to be, right? Great. I signed, I set it up, set it and forget it. It's evergreen. It doesn't work that way. It needs management just like a human person needs management. Taming your tech also means that you are taking your leadership and collaboration skills to direct your technology holistically rather than hoping that all the components are just magically going to work well together. I really hope this is helpful. I would love to hear from you. You can certainly add a comment to any of the social media feeds where this is streaming live today. You can also send me an email, maureen@meetmaureen.com. If you've got any questions, if you want a little consult with me, just-in-time training or just-in-time help, you can investigate that Power Hour link that I've shared. Next week, Friday, the 14th of January, halfway through the month already, I am so psyched because I'm going to be joined by the always amazing Olga Manishki-Woltman. She is smart, she is sassy, and she is going to give us some fresh ideas about how to use storytelling to stand out in 2022. It's a whole new ball game this year. The rules are going to be slightly different for how you get someone's attention through storytelling. The same old ways of communicating are not going to cut it. So I would love to see you all right here with Olga and me next Friday the 14th at 12:30 Eastern Time. Wishing all of you a great wrap up to the first work week of 2022. And hopefully you can unplug a little bit over the weekend. And I will see you next Friday. Thanks, everybody. Catch you soon. Bye.